Hello everyone, I'm Mihoko. Let's enjoy learning about Japanese culture in a fun and easy way. In this video, I'll introduce 14 sections of the Pillow Book.
The Pillow Book of Sei Shōnagon. The Pillow Book is an essay written by a court lady known as Sei Shōnagon around the year 1000. Those days, Kyoto was the capital, and aristocracy with the emperor at its head was in charge of politics. From the age of 27, Sei Shōnagon served Empress Sadako for 7 years, and during that time, she began to write the Pillow Book for the Empress. The aim of the Pillow Book. While Empress Sadako was alive, the book was an enjoyable reading for her. After her death, it was written in the hope of comforting her soul, and after that, its purpose was to pass on the memory of her extraordinary qualities to future generations. Regarding how the Pillow Book was written and the relationship between Sei Shōnagon and Empress Sadako, please watch my video, The Pillow Book, Who is She?
Sei Shōnagon was known for her strong sense of self and for expressing her opinions clearly and frankly. The joy of reading the Pillow Book lies in the dialogue you can have with the author. She writes many sections on various themes. You can compare her thoughts with your own. I hope you'll enjoy this video and gain a deeper understanding of the historical background of her time.
Buddhist sermons. Buddhist sermons were important public events, and a Buddhist priest explained the teachings. Many people, nobles as well as commoners, gathered to listen. Sei Shōnagon writes about the preacher she desires. The preacher I desire. A preacher should be handsome. When the preacher is good-looking, I naturally keep my eyes on his face, and the holy nature of his sermon feels more impressive. But if he is not attractive, my eyes wander to something else, and in that moment, I forget what he is saying. So, listening to a sermon by an ugly preacher feels like punishment from Buddha. But I'll stop here. If I were younger, I'll boldly write such outrageous things without hesitation. Now that I'm closer to the next world, I'm afraid of divine punishment and must be more careful. Heart-quickening things. After washing my hair, applying makeup, and wearing clothes scented with fine incense, I feel excited. Even when no one is around to see me, I feel satisfied and happy. On a night when my lover is expected to come over, hearing the sound of rain or the wind knocking on the door also makes my heart beat faster. Rare things. A son-in-law who is praised by his father-in-law. A daughter-in-law who is truly loved by her mother-in-law. A subordinate who never speaks ill of his boss. When I'm carefully copying a borrowed book of stories or poems, it's very rare not to get ink on it. This does not apply only to relationships between men and women. Between two women, even if they promise to remain best friends forever, it is extremely rare for that friendship to remain unchanged until the very end. Things too different to compare. Summer and winter, night and day, a rainy day and a sunny day, laughter and anger, the person you love and the person you dislike. Even the same person can seem like a completely different person when he loves you and when his heart has changed. In a place thick with trees, around midnight, Crows perched on branches begin to become restless in a half-asleep state. They panic when they slip off a branch or move from branch to branch, calling to each other in sleepy voices. This is amusing, for it is so different from the calm and composed manner crows show during the day. Things near, yet far. Even among siblings or relatives with deep blood ties, if hearts don't connect, they can feel distant. December 31st and the following day, January 1st. Though separated by just one day, the time of the year feels like a great distance. Ladies in waiting. A lady in waiting was expected to help her mistress gain the respect from other nobles and win the emperor's favor. For this reason, well-educated and intellectually gifted daughters of middle-ranking nobles were often chosen for the position of lady-in-waiting. Sei Shōnagon's talent. Sei Shōnagon came from a lower-ranking aristocratic family. However, because her great-grandfather and father were famous poets, and she herself possessed extensive knowledge of both Japanese and Chinese literature, she was welcomed into Empress Sadako's salon with high expectations. She soon gained the Empress's favor and trust. Encouraged by Sadako, Sei Shōnagon was able to fully express her talents and quickly became the leading lady of the salon. Based on her own experience, Sei Shōnagon wrote an essay encouraging women to pursue careers as court ladies. I don't think I can respect a woman who has no dreams for the future, because she simply wants an ordinary, conventional marriage and pursues only superficial happiness. If she is a daughter of a good family, she should rather aspire to serve at court. There, she can learn about how society works and gain real experience. I'd like her to work, even for a short time, as a court lady of a high rank in service to the emperor. I found it irritating that some men think women who work at court are thoughtless or improper. Still, I understand why they might feel that way. When a woman serves at court, she must meet many kinds of people, noble gentlemen close to the emperor, fellow court ladies, and even lower-ranking servants. She cannot avoid them just because she is shy, so she naturally becomes less naive and innocent. In case a man marries a woman who has served at court and cherishes her as his principal wife, he may occasionally feel she has become too accustomed to socializing and lost her reserved grace. This is understandable. However, I believe there are favorable aspects for her husband. Would it not be a splendid and honorable thing for his wife to make good use of her court experience? Because after their marriage, she can visit the palace, participate in ceremonies, and assist with important events. Even if the husband himself is unfamiliar with court convention, his wife's skills and experience can be very useful. Hopeless things. A woman who had volunteered for a position in court service soon lost her motivation and found everything troublesome. She complained about the difficulties and was scolded by others for her attitude. Because human relationships there could be complicated, she constantly said, "I wish I could leave and go back home." Then she finally managed to obtain permission to return to her parents' house. But once she was home, her parents reproached her for lacking resolve, so she too became resentful towards them, saying, "Fine, I'll just go back to the palace then." Such behavior is truly hopeless. Marriage. During the era when Sei Shōnagon lived, it was common for aristocratic men to have multiple wives in addition to their principal wife. A marriage was considered established once a man visited a woman's residence for 3 consecutive nights. Aristocratic marriage was not based on living together, but on commuting marriages. Even after marriage, husbands and wives usually did not share the same household. If the husband stopped visiting his wife, the marriage was considered to have ended naturally. As the couple did not usually live together, a wife depended greatly on continued visits from her husband. If the woman's family was not wealthy, this situation could place her in a very unstable financial situation. A man without sensitivity. A son-in-law welcomed with every proper preparation soon stopped visiting his wife's residence. Does he feel any sense of shame when he happens to meet his father-in-law? There was a man who married the daughter of a powerful family and was welcomed with great celebration. But after less than 1 month, he stopped visiting her house. Everyone in her family was shocked and upset. The nanny who had raised the woman was very angry and spoke harsh words about the husband, as if she were cursing him. And yet, in the palace appointments of the following January, that very man rose remarkably in rank. How could anyone be promoted after falling out with his powerful father-in-law? People wondered, and such talk must surely have reached the son-in-law's ears. That year in June, a senior nobleman held a Buddhist lecture ceremony, and many people gathered to attend. On that occasion, the newly promoted son-in-law arrived in splendid clothes, riding in an ox-drawn carriage. He intentionally had his carriage stopped right behind that of his former wife, as if to show off his success. People in nearby carriages who knew the story felt very sorry for the woman. They wondered how she must have felt when she saw her former husband behind her carriage. Even people who had not attended the ceremony later spoke about it, saying, "How could he sit there so calmly after what he had done?" Indeed, men are insensitive, unable to understand the feelings of others or show true consideration. Shameful things. A married woman, driven by groundless jealousy, left her husband and ran away from home. She believed that her husband would be deeply troubled and come looking for her. However, he showed no concern at all and made no effort to find her. Eventually, unable to bear being apart any longer, she returned on her own. How shameful! Plants in the garden. People in those days enjoyed watching the plants in their gardens and appreciating the changing seasons. How did they obtain especially splendid plants? Sei Shōnagon gives us one example. Annoying things. When we are quietly enjoying the view of graceful autumn plants, such as bush clover or pampas grass in our garden, some men suddenly show up carrying a large box and spade and begin digging them up as much as they like. It is truly irritating. When a proper gentleman is present, they never behave that way. But if they see only women, no matter how strongly we protest, they simply say, "It's just a little," and dig up the plants and carry them away. There is no way to express how frustrating that is. Detestable things. I found it detestable when a visitor comes just as I'm in a hurry and then talks at great lengths. If the person is of no particular importance, I can simply say, "Later," and send them away. But when the visitor is someone of high rank, to whom I cannot speak so casually, I become terribly irritated. There are many other kinds of behavior that I found hateful. I dislike people who envy others and lament their own circumstances. I also dislike people who love gossip and want to know even the smallest details. When someone doesn't tell them what they want to know, they resent it or speak ill of them. I dislike people who, having picked up only a little information, get carried away and talk to others as if they had known it all along. I also hate it when, just as I have lain down to sleep, a mosquito comes flying toward me. It arrives making a tiny noise, as if insisting on being noticed, and buzzes around my face. Small as its body is, it even stirs the air with its wings, which only makes it all the more detestable to me. Those who get overconfident in front of others. The 4 or 5-year-old children who live in the neighborhood often come into my house and scatter or break things in the rooms. Usually, I can pull out their clothes or bodies to stop them, so they cannot do exactly as they please. But when their mothers are present, the children become overconfident, shaking their mothers while demanding, "Show me this, Mom." Yet, the mothers are absorbed in their conversations and pay no attention to the children. So, when the children mess around with shelves and drawers on their own and pull out to look at them, it is truly infuriating. And the mothers who simply say, "Don't do that," without even taking the things away, or smiling as they tell them, "You should not do that. Don't break anything," are also infuriating. Since I cannot be strict with the mothers, all I can do is just watch over them, feeling anxious and frustrated. Things that seem hard to bear. A wet nurse caring for a baby who cries through the night. When the crying will not stop in the quiet hours, she cannot help worrying that those around her will be annoyed. A man who has 2 lovers and is resented and envied by both suffers terribly because he is unable to resolve the situation. A woman who is passionately loved by a man who is suspicious and jealous without grounds also seems to suffer greatly. Painful things. The most painful thing in life is undoubtedly being hated by others. No matter how eccentric a person may be, no one truly wishes to be deeply disliked. Yet, it is heartbreaking that, quite naturally, whether in court service or among parents and siblings, people divide into those who are loved and those who are not. This is obvious among high-ranking nobles, but even among people of lower status, a child cherished by their parents attracts attention and is treated kindly by others as well. If a child is gifted, it seems only natural that the parents will love them. Even a child with no particular merits can be cherished only by their parents, and It moves me profoundly. Whether from parents, alone, or those one interacts with, there's nothing more wonderful than being loved by others. This is the end of the video. Thank you for watching.